Hello, welcome to Buffalo Bills Football Radio by Pat Rosa, and that's me, and I'm going to talk about for the next 15 minutes about the Buffalo Bills and their 2019 offseason needs in order for them to be a playoff team next season, which I truly believe they can be. Obviously, last season, in the 2018 season, the Bills struggled offensively. They got better as Josh Allen came back from injury and used his legs and his arm and was really effective doing that, but it was obvious that the Bills needed more talent on the receiving end and on the offensive line. And realistically, I think they can at least be better if they can bulk up on their offensive line and increase the talent in the receiving room. So really, I think the big needs for the Bills this year are wide receiver and offensive linemen, most notably guards and possibly left tackle. But really, it's really the interior offensive line that needs to be working. And first, I'm going to talk about receivers because I think that's the most important need that the Bills have right now. They don't have a lot of great game-breaking receivers right now. They do have Zay Jones, who came along, who is gradually coming along. He had a better season this year than his rookie season, and also they have Robert Foster, who was their over-the-top weapon that they used last season, and I think he has potential, and both guys had potential, but they don't have that true game-breaking wide receiver that will catch a touchdown pass and the game just swings the Bills' way. And really, there isn't a lot of free agents that are like that in free agency this year. I mean, you have Golden Tate, who could match the Bills well because he's a good third down target, and they need that. He's a good slot receiver, and he's always been a great receiver, either if it's when he was with Seattle or when he was with the Lions. He's always been a great receiver and would fit the Bills well as they build around Josh Allen. But I do see the Bills could sign him, but he may be looking someplace else as well, and more of a contender. But I could see Golden Tate being interested in coming to Buffalo. And then you have Adam Humphries, Randall Cobb, John Brown, and Devin Funchess. Out of all of those receivers, I think Devin Funchess has the best chance of coming to Buffalo because of his Carolina connection. And, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane loves Carolina players, and he's been a reliable target for Cam Newton, and I think he could be for Josh Allen. But really, I think when it comes down to it, the Bills are going to use a lot of their draft picks this year on skill players like receiver or running back, or even a pass-catching tight end. I think that's really what they're going to focus their draft on, is drafting skill players. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the majority of the draft ends up being, is skilled players. And then you go down to the offensive line. And it's obvious that the Bills need better offensive linemen. Especially, they need to improve their run blocking. They didn't give any running backs, if it's LaShawn McCoy, Chris Ivory, or even Marcus Murphy, they didn't give any of their running backs any running lanes last season. And I think the most important part that they need to address is guards. They need to upgrade that position in free agency. There are some good adequate to good guards that are coming in free agency, and I think the Bills will sign a couple of them. They already signed one guard or center. We'll see where they put him in Spencer Long, and he was with the Jets, and he was okay. The Jets fans didn't really like him, and we'll see how he does with the Bills. But I think he's a Ryan Groy replacement, and he could start at center or guard for the Bills. They obviously have one center coming back, and that's Russell Bodine, who was injured last season, but my guess is either Spencer Long or Russell Bodine will fight for that center job. So, and then you have Dion Dawkins, who's an interesting scenario because I see the Bills either filling that role in free agency and switching Dion Dawkins to right guard, or they also could draft one because there are a couple of good offensive tackles in the draft, and they could, with the great defensive linemen coming up in the draft, that could push a lot of those good offensive tackles to the Bills at 9. So if there is a good offensive tackle, especially left tackle, I don't think the Bills will sweat, and they will pick him at number 9. So, because I think Dion Dawkins was very inconsistent last season, and he took a lot of bad penalties in the games that he started. So I think having a good, consistent left tackle there will help the Bills a lot. But really, from my vantage point, I think if the Bills can have better guards next season, that will help the offensive line out a whole lot, and they'll open up more holes for LaShawn McCoy and whatever running back that they may draft, because I think they do need to draft a younger running back. So that's really what I see them doing offensive tackle-wise, and they could sign that Matt Paradise. He does command a lot of money, but the Bills have a lot of money to spend, and he would be a perfect fit for the Bills. So I do see the Bills trying to sign him as well. So we will see how everything unfolds offensive line-wise, but I think that's a major focus in free agency that the Bills will focus on. As for other positions, tight end is interesting. I think the Bills will sign one veteran tight end. They obviously released Charles Clay after 4 years, and I think that was a good decision because he's been hurt. He hasn't started in a lot of games, and he's just been unreliable for the Bills. I think the big tight ends out there, Tyler Kroft, Jesse James, and Jared Cook. Obviously, there was a report out there that they're interested in Jesse James, which I think is a good thing. So I think any of those tight ends will work for the Bills. Are they reliable tight ends? Yes. I'm always impressed by Tyler Kroft and also Jesse James. He's been a reliable target in Pittsburgh, and Jared Cook he had a career year last year, and he couldn't really be that good pass-catching tight end that the Bills have lacked for a long time. But I also see them drafting a tight end in the draft. So we will see where that goes as well. And one position that you should look out for, maybe not in free agency, but if the Bills can get another good pass rusher and defensive tackle, I think they'll just solidify that defensive line and that defense in general. Don't be surprised if in the draft at the number 9 spot, if it's a decision between picking a good pass rusher or a solid left tackle, if that's their decision that they need to make when their pick is coming up. So I see it going that way. There's going to be good defensive tackles in the draft, and I think the Bills have a shot at picking one of them. So really, that's that's really where I see that need going is defensive tackle and pass rusher. But and that basically runs down every draft that they need. And if the Bills do it right, yes, I think they'll look like a really good team on paper in May as they start their OTAs and as we get closer to training camp. So that's really where I see them going this year, and hopefully we are a better team next season, and hopefully they surround Josh Allen with a good protection, good offensive line, and good targets as well. And if they do that, yes, I think the Bills can be really good next season and possibly compete with the Patriots in the AFC East. So that's all I have. I hope you enjoy your weekend and have a good day. Go Bills.